Hi, I'm Andrew,
Hey, I'm Colin.
and this is our college football podcast.
All right, so that was a great week in college football.
Absolutely. A lot of thrilling upsets, also a lot of great games, a lot of not so great games. Let's get into it.
So
So for the week recap,
the one theme I saw was a lot of blowouts. I think almost every week one's like this, where big schools schedule small schools for a free win, and we saw this a lot. But there were some games that, the big school didn't do as well as I thought. The first game I really want to talk about is Oregon, Idaho.
yeah. On the Oregon side of the ball, great offensive performance from Dylan Gabriel. I mean, the screen pass is definitely back at Oregon. However, he threw for I think nearly 400 yards with a couple of touchdowns, and it was a very solid performance. Strikingly, though, Oregon only scored 24 to Idaho's 14, which when the number 3 ranked team plays just a random D2 team, win by 10 points is unacceptable.
Yeah, no, I would say 10 points. Are you serious? I know Oregon drove the ball down the field. They got lead back, got around 7 yards a carry. I mean, you think they're doing well, but they just couldn't put the ball in the end zone. That's,
Right.
a fact. And, it's hard.
Yeah.
They're 10 points is not enough.
Right, especially since that last touchdown came in the fourth quarter.
You saw how last year they won 81 to 10, something crazy like that.
Against Portland State, yeah.
It's just, if they're barely beating Idaho, how are they supposed to beat any good teams? So I feel like they are the team that has the most to prove next week.
Right, and we'll get into AP poll biggest movers later in the video. So we may comment on Oregon, we may not. You'll have to find out by watching. And by the way, if you've made it this far, just a quick thank you, because most people don't make it this far.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's continue. Do you want to do Notre Dame A&M next?
Yeah. So that was one of the biggest games of the week. Very interesting. I feel like Riley Leonard was kind of shaky for the majority of the game, but he kind of pulled it together towards the end.
Yeah, Hartman's got pretty big shoes to fill, so it's...
Yeah, I feel like A&M did not look good, especially offensively. Offensively, they looked terrible. I'll just say that. They looked bad offensively. They had a really hard time moving the ball. Obviously Notre Dame has a great defense, but, SEC, I feel like they're the most overrated conference. And, time and time again this week, that's kind of shown.
Right. Nothing else to say about that.
Yeah.
I think it sums it up pretty perfectly. Georgia, how about we just do Georgia Clemson
All right,
quickly?
Georgia Clemson.
I was in the car for the majority of this game, so saw the first half. Very competitive first half. Did not watch the second half. Glad I didn't. Georgia was full steam ahead, and it was Dabo Swinney's worst offensive performance since I think 2008. So really disappointing from Clemson. It'll be shocking if they're ranked above number 20 going into next week. And then Georgia, really stellar performance offensively, especially since Clemson's notorious for having a strong defense.
Yeah. No, I think Clemson just kind of fallen behind with the no transfer thing. Times have changed. Clemson wants to keep it old school, and it is clearly not working.
Right.
So let's go.
Finally, for the best game of the week. Objectively, the best game of the week.
I
Instant classic.
USC LSU.
Yeah, love that.
That was
impressive. Yeah.
I feel like the whole game, edge of my feet. I watched the first half in the car, watched second at home. That was an amazing game. I'm kind of sad. DirecTV, for whatever reason, they didn't play it, so I had to get on the ESPN app, which wasn't as good. But, that was one of the best games I've watched in a long time.
Right. I think Kyron Hudson's one-handed grab, OBJ style, OBJ who, right? That'll make highlight. That will not be the last time we see that catch.
No, he made another one in the fourth quarter.
I know, yeah, that was key,
that
and there was targeting on play,
targeting,
which gave USC some great yardage to go ahead and score a touchdown and secure the victory.
I'll be honest. I am worried about the kicking situation.
I know we missed from like 29.
29.
We missed from you can't miss from 29.
I was worried that we were gonna miss the next one. I'll be honest.
Right.
I was like, don't take a knee, don't run the ball, go for the end zone. We're lucky Woody Marks got a great run.
Yeah.
For the touchdown, or that might not have been the same result. Might have to go to overtime.
Right, and I want to take a look at like the defense. I mean, we saw some really. I think Eric Gentry made some great defensive plays. Bear Alexander, big body. Overall, USC's defense was absolutely stellar. Like there are two different teams from last year compared to this year.
Completely.
And then Miller Moss coming. I think he had put up a solid 300 yards with a touchdown, no picks. Nothing to complain about with this SC team so far, aside from the kicking.
Yeah, I mean last year we could barely hold Cal under 50. I think
Right.
they scored 49 points on us.
Yeah.
And this year we held LSU to 20. That's improvement if I've ever seen it.
Huge improvement. Yeah, a lot of naysayers, a lot of doubters. A lot of people who said LSU would crush us with their running game, but if you omit the third quarter, I think SC was holding them to about 3 yards per attempt for the rest of the game. So
yeah,
very very great performance by SC.
All right,
Only good things to come, hopefully.
Let's look at our AP poll, biggest movers.
Yep.
So for me, here's one of the most obvious ones. Here's a team that won, but I think they're gonna move down. They had one first place vote actually. It's Oregon. Yeah. The Idaho game, I know we've talked about that. Yeah, we're not. I think they're moving down to number 6. I think that's a fair move for them. So that's kind of one of my movers of the week.
Right. I think my biggest mover is going to be FSU. I mean, Georgia Tech's, I think, a very underrated, very solid team, and it was the first game of the season, but totally inexcusable. I mean, the Jordan Travis loss among other players. FSU will probably drop to about 18th, so it will probably drop by a good 8th place. 8 places. I mean, LSU was one of my contenders, and Oregon too, but I think FSU will have the biggest drop.
Usually, the team that's going to move up is USC.
Right. Yeah. Cannot disagree.
I have them probably 15 to 14.
Right.
I say they might just swap with Clemson.
Possible. I think Clemson will drop like a little bit. I think SC will land at about 15 and Clemson at about 17.
Really? Only
yeah.
Because they lost, but they got killed.
They got killed by Georgia, but they got killed.
3
for sure.
points. I feel like I would like them more at 21.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. I think LSU will probably also be around 20, 21.
Yeah, no, LSU, they were number 13 in the nation. They need to move down.
Right.
All right. Let's talk about college football playoffs. Now, that week is shaking up a lot. So,
right. Just want to run through them pretty quickly.
I am going to say Georgia is going to be number 1. I had all sorts of teams last week, but I think it has to be Georgia. If you really think about how they played, dominant. Pounded the rock. They were Beck looked amazing. Great reads. I think Georgia, juggernaut, they're gonna be number 1.
Yeah, I have Georgia at number 1 too. Not a lot else to say that hasn't already been said.
I think number 2 is, Ohio State. Oregon did not look good.
Yeah, my number 2 would probably be Ohio State. Now my number 3 out of the Big 12, a lot of teams there.
Yeah.
And I think the favorites got to be Utah. But I have Oklahoma State kind of just to be different.
Yeah, with Ollie Gordon.
Yeah, with Ollie. Right, no, the running game is nuts.
Yeah, no, I think I do have to take Utah. They had they beat, they just won. I think that's what I have to say. Southern Utah, no, they're not a good team, but they didn't look like
Yeah, they didn't beat them by only 10. So.
Yeah, no, 49 points is good enough. I'll have Utah at 3.
Right. Number 4 coming out of the ACC, Miami. Said it last week. No way I'm changing that. Massive win in the swamp against the Gators. Really like defied expectations. Really embarrassing loss for Florida.
Now at 4, I had NC State. I don't think I can have them again.
Weber State put up a really good fight.
Yeah, that's
worryingly
unfortunate. Yeah. I can't even put Clemson. So you have to go with Miami, who was like one of the only teams that did have a competent showing. So I'm gonna have to give Miami at 4 too.
All right. Number 5, Texas, SEC powerhouse. We'll see how they do. Probably will lose like a game, maybe 2, but see if Arch Manning. I think he had like 1, maybe 2 touchdowns against whoever they played. Bright future there.
5, Ole Miss, Jackson Dart looked amazing again. They were up 50 at halftime. I think they had some empathy. They didn't want to, win by 100. They could have if they wanted to. So, Ole Miss, Jackson Dart looked great. Not the best competition, but, football's football. You got to be the team in front of you. So I'm going to put Ole Miss at number 5.
My number 6, I'm going to go with Oregon. In spite of what has just unfolded, it's early, and I think the Phil Knight money is going to go a pretty long way for Oregon. And really, like, the main issue was just, converting, scoring, getting that extra 5 yards in the red zone in order to score a touchdown. And I think that's not, like, easy to do, but it's something that can be coached. It's something that can be fixed, and I think Oregon will really turn things around, at least by the halfway point in the season. So I have them at my 6.
Number 6, I got Notre Dame. They proved themselves with a big win. I feel like they're a really good team. I hate to say it because I am an SC fan. But yeah, I do got Notre Dame at 6.
My number 7, I've got Bama, SEC powerhouse. Can't leave them out. Not much else to say.
My number 7 is Penn State. They had a game against West Virginia. They were able to win that. Their defense looked good. Their offense looked decent. And, I think Penn State's going to do some good things this year.
My number 8, I have Ole Miss. Great showing against, like, Chattanooga. I don't know who they played. Jackson Dart, was electric. Star-studded roster. Great moves in the offseason.
Okay, on my number 8, I have University of Southern California Trojans. They beat LSU. Their defense looks great. I think they're just going to keep on rolling. USC, college football playoff, here we come.
My number 9, unfortunately, I don't have USC. I have Notre Dame. They beat A&M's. We'll see how well A&M ends up finishing. But I mean, very very solid performance against A&M in primetime away game.
Right. My number 9. Unfortunately, I have the Texas Longhorns. I don't like them. I think they're gonna drop some games, but I do think they'll end up in the college football playoffs.
At my number 10, I have SC Trojans. Love them. I really hope we make it. We'll see. I think they, after this big win against LSU, I think they have a great shot at kind of sneaking in one of the lower seeds.
At 10, I have Alabama. Too strong of a program not to make it. Now that there's 12, I'm not a big fan. I don't like Alabama, but I do think they're going to make it in.
Yep. At my number 11, I have Utah. Some would say that's kind of crazy, putting them this low, considering they're probably the best. They're definitely a top 2 team in the Big 12. But I have them down here. Haven't proved much thus far, even though they haven't had a whole lot they can prove. But you can't leave them out, so they're gonna fit in at my number 11.
On my number 11, I have Oklahoma State. The running attack is too lethal. I think that's going to help them beat down on lesser teams. And I think, they're a powerful team, power runner. I think that's a great team for number 11.
Number 12. Some may say Boise State. Some might say App State. Some might say some might say even Tulane, but I have Liberty. Been great the past few years. We'll see what they can do.
Yeah, no. I have Boise State. They had a okay showing, but it's early. They have a fight in them. They have fight. I think that's what matters. I think Boise State, they're hungry. They're coming. And I think they're going to be number 12 team in the nation.
All right.
All right.
That's our playoff prediction. Next week, big games. All right, let's take a look. What we have next week.
It's a quieter week, I would say.
Yeah.
There's no games that really stand out compared to last week. Obviously, the big game is Michigan, Texas.
Yeah.
That's clear.
Right.
USC plays Utah State.
Yeah. I just on Michigan, Texas. Michigan at the number 9 was probably really optimistic. Considering they retained no guys, no starters at least. They did win the Natty, but they also lost Harbaugh, and Harbaugh was really instrumental. Great coach. Hopefully the Chargers can be better than 8-8 or whatever, 8-9. So I'm thinking Texas will pull pretty far away from Michigan pretty cleanly in this one.
Yeah, no, I think that I'm gonna have to give it to Texas. Quinn Ewers didn't look great. I'll be honest. A little bit subpar.
That's fair.
But Michigan just lost so much. I think I have to give it to Texas.
Right. Michigan's just a shell of its former self. They're the number 19 team. They're not the number 9 team. Are there any other games?
I would say Arkansas Oklahoma State is an interesting one.
Yeah.
SEC Big 12. It is.
It's kind of poverty SEC.
Poverty SEC.
It's like Vanderbilt SEC.
Yeah, Arkansas isn't a bad team. But no, I think Oklahoma State is just going to run the ball up their throat and probably just win. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think they're going to win by a touchdown, maybe 2.
Yeah, probably closer to 2. Really, really quiet week though.
Yeah, no, there's not great games. I think Utah Baylor.
Oh yeah.
It's always an interesting one. I think it's conference play now. That's not used to that.
Yeah.
But I do have to give to Utah.
Right. No, Utah's probably the best team in the conference.
5 touchdowns.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
All right. You wanna do USC because we have them marked unless there are any other big games.
Yeah, I think we go right to USC right now.
All right, I have USC marked. Do you want to do updated record prediction? Do you want to do just like a?
No, I think we should do a Utah. Well, actually, I would say Tennessee NC State is a good game.
It's a good game.
I'm gonna say right now, NC State Wolfpack. Grayson McCall, he's got second game in the system. I think the NC State Wolfpack are going to pull one off and beat Tennessee. Against Weber State. Weber State put up really, really strong numbers. I'm going to have to go with Tennessee. Looked great against West Virginia. Yeah.
Not a whole lot to say. It'll be close though. It'll be competitive. Both teams are on the outskirts, but still fighting for a chance to get into the playoff.
Here's one more game I want to talk about before USC. Boise State, Oregon. 2 teams that at least I have in the college football playoffs. I don't think Boise State wins. I think Boise State gives them a run for their money. I really believe that Boise State's going to keep it under 10 points. Difference. They're going to lose, but they're going to keep it under 10. If you're going to bet, right now the spread is minus 18.5 for Oregon. I would bet on Boise State.
I actually think Oregon will win by a considerable amount. I think like Idaho probably scared them to death. I would totally respect Boise State. They're a great program. And I think if I was an Oregon fan, I'd be pretty nervous. But I think Oregon will win cleanly by at least 2 scores. Against Boise State.
Don't know about that.
We'll see. We'll see. Only time will tell. Time will tell.
I really.
I hope they don't. I hope they lose. But...
I really like this Boise State team. All right, let's talk about USC.
All right. What's the spread on the game?
28.5. USC.
Oh, SC is gonna cover.
I think USC is gonna lock them down.
SC is gonna cover 28. That's weak.
The defense looked great. We're familiar with the Utah State quarterback. It's actually Bryson Barnes, the old Utah quarterback. I don't know if you remember that. He was Utah's quarterback last year before Cam Rising when he was injured. He's a dual threat, which USC sometimes has trouble with, but I feel like Utah State beat Robert Morris by 3 touchdowns, which should have been more. You've heard of Robert Morris?
Never heard.
Well, I guess that USC might not have heard of Utah State after this game. So
that's right. All right. Do you want to end it there? Hopefully it hasn't been too long.
No, I think we keep it short this week.
All right. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I mean, I might be talking to nobody right now based on our viewership, but yeah, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you next time.